Alright guys, I'm going to show you a few shortcuts slash cheats I use to do an oil pan swap on this 1987 325E. It's got an inline 6 2.7 liter. Alright, I also did spark plugs while I was at it, just a little tune up, but the oil pan was bottomed out over a speed bump and busted open. I'll show you the old one, but I have the new one already installed here. I want to go through the process, make sure it worked fluid before I presented it to show as a good cheat if you bump in or run in having to do with this. Alright, let's go over it. Alright, so if you look around the pan, there is about 22 10mm. Let's see if I can get a better angle. Bolts holding the pan on. Alright, better lighting. And now right now I just left it jacked up. I'm about to reline up the engine mounts, but what I did is I grabbed one of my jacks here and a large wooden block I have in my scraps, and I jacked up underneath the AC compressor, and as many other videos showed, it's definitely a good cheat. I think there was 2 other videos, if I recall, at least that I checked out, that had done that. One thing I didn't see them do, is going underneath there is great and all, but it crowds space over here for working, along with the fact that it doesn't necessarily get both these, let's see if I get a good angle, both of these engine mounts, see right there's a good angle on it, both of these engine mounts properly elevated to the optimal height, or the maximum height per se, technically, that the engine will go, to get as much clearance as possible, because the more clearance you get between here, as you can see, there's a decent amount more, the easier it will be to get this pan in and out. So as you can see over here, after I got it up, I removed the bracket. This is a shield that I have in between the bracket here, the engine mount, and I removed that, and then I used a scrap piece of 2x4 to wedge in there, and then over here I used another little scrap piece. I don't know what size that is. It's like a 1x1/2, but worked out perfectly fine, and that way it opens up the clearance with me having plenty of free space to work in here. And then as a safety backup, I went with the jack and a big block. And let's see if I can get the side. Got the light blocking the camera. As you can see, I have it jacked underneath the bell housing as kind of a safety net if one of those blocks does decide to fall out, but they are in there very snug. I haven't had any issues or getting wobbly or any sign that it wanted to fall out. Alright. And then obviously when you're removing the pan, there's going to be a big ground up here on top of the pan, and your oil level sensor, little connector, 2 10mm, and I use black RTV to seal that up, make sure it doesn't leak, because rather than buying a new O-ring seal. So seemed to have worked out fine. As you can see, let me show you the clearance up here. I literally have see if I can get it down a little bit lower. If you look how tight, the shadows are terrible. If you can look how tight that clearance is over here, it literally, the head of the engine is literally touching the firewall. So it is at maximum height that the engine will go with the training mount and everything still in there without having to disassemble anything else. So I got it up as high as it would go, and then got those blocks in there. I didn't see other people using blocks, but I did use the cheat of going underneath the AC compressor, and that definitely helped out a lot, because I currently at this time do not have an engine hoist to lift this sucker up. But yeah, if any of you guys are looking for a cheat to do a oil pan swap or oil pan gasket on an E30, this was what I found to be the best way to do it. Not necessarily the safest, but I still felt pretty comfortable doing it. So also be careful when you're doing it and make sure the blocks are secure and you have a safety jack and jack stand to secure it. Here is the oil pan I took off. As you can see, there's not much oil pan left, but luckily it seemed like the sensor and everything were still intact. But yeah. Sorry for the bad lighting, by the way, too. Hope this helps.